Welcome to Hallyu Leaders and Experts, a storytelling initiative by our team here at Hallyu and Uri Insights. My name is Lachey Ben Salmi, award-winning author, TEDx speaker, and proud co-founder of Uri Insights and Hallyu, and I'm so thrilled to guide you through today's discussion with our special guests. Now, at the heart of this initiative is our mission to spotlight the voices, the journeys, the stories, and the perspectives of influential figures shaping the global Korean wave. Today's special guest is Mr. Kyung-won Kim, Deputy Director General to the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Parliamentary Attaché to the Embassy of the Republic of Korea here in the UK. Now, we hope that you thoroughly enjoyed today's discussion, and we'd love to hear your perspective on some of the topics discussed today. Without further ado, let's dive into today's discussion with Mr. Kim.
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to take part in this important discussion. I serve as Parliamentary Attaché at the Embassy of the Republic of Korea and as Deputy Director General of the National Assembly of Korea. In this role, I focus not only strengthening the legislative relationship between UK Parliament and the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, but also on supporting the broader partnership between the United Kingdom and the Republic of Korea. I take great pride in this position, as it is a unique role, a diplomat from the legislature, for the legislature, and by the legislature.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kim, for being here today. And obviously, your role holds such significance in terms of bridging the gap between South Korea and the UK. And I think we can get started. I would really love to understand what sort of inspired you to dedicate your career to public service and international diplomacy. On this journey, you've played a huge role in fostering stronger connections between South Korea and the UK. So what inspired this?
United Kingdom holds a very special meaning for me. It was the first country I ever visited abroad, and I came to see Westminster, the symbol of parliamentary democracy. I believe my return to the UK was some kind of destiny of a parliamentary idea. Fortunately, during my tenure, our bilateral relationship, and especially between our two parliaments, has advanced remarkably. Our two countries share much in common. It is not easy for a nation to achieve democracy, economic success, and cultural influence all at once. But both the UK and Korea have done so. It is deeply meaningful that our two like-minded countries are working together.
And it's so significant, as you've shared. I believe in 2023, we celebrated 140 years of Korea and UK diplomatic relations. So it's very significant. And moving on to our next question, what role do you believe cultural exchange plays, particularly through the Korean wave, in shaping diplomatic ties between nations?
Yeah, culture moves people, people moves the politicians, and the politicians make diplomacy. As the well-known saying goes, no two countries with McDonald's have ever gone to war. In the same way, I hope Hallyu today can play such a role in keeping peace around the world, especially UK and South Korea. Yeah.
And from a policy perspective, how does the Korean National Assembly view the globalization of Hallyu in relation to Korea's broader international influence?
It may sound like a simple question, but the answer is in fact quite complex. Of course, the global spread of Hallyu has certainly contributed to enhancing Korea's international standing. But what is truly important is to understand the past, how Hallyu has developed. The National Assembly fully recognized that Hallyu has gone on its own. Just as the British invasion of the 1960s was achieved by groups like Beatles, Korea's cultural sector has also opened the global market by itself. Artists such as Psy, BTS, and Blackpink all rose to global fame by overcoming intense competition. The National Assembly has passed the legislation to support the growth of Hallyu, and it will continue to provide diverse forms of support through lawmaking and budgetary measures. All of this will be done while respecting the autonomy of the industry and ensuring fair competition.
And in your role representing the National Assembly in the UK, what initiatives or strategies are being pursued to support Korean culture and content abroad?
As a diplomat, I have the opportunity to meet people from many sectors in the UK At the same time, as the Deputy Director General of the National Assembly of Korea, I'm also in a position to meet people from Korea's cultural and other fields. My role is essentially about making connections, and I strive to link as many people as possible. The spread of the Korean wave also begins with such connections. Good ideas and good people become even more valuable when they are shared.
Yes, exactly. And I think there are so many wonderful Korean government-backed initiatives that are really
Mhm.
supporting that bridging of the gap between South Korea and the UK. For example, our organization do a lot of work with the Korean
Yeah,
Cultural Center and KOKA. So there are so many wonderful initiatives and efforts.
yeah, right. That's right.
Now, moving on to some more questions. How
Mhm,
can government institutes like the National Assembly work
mhm.
more closely with cultural organizations and media platforms to deepen these bilateral connections?
Politicians are the opinion leader of the nation, and the parliament is where they come together. Our National Assembly can work in partnership with the cultural organization and the media platforms to organize programs to expand bilateral understanding of politicians, especially when they visit each other's countries. For example, do you remember in February 2025, a special delegation from the Speaker of the National Assembly had lunch with people interested in Hallyu and the beautiful Tate model. This instance sparked interest on similarity between Korean British cultures and Korean lawmakers. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that was such a wonderful luncheon, and that's actually where we
Yeah.
connected. So it's so wonderful to still be connected now and to be having this discussion. So now moving on to Hallyu as a soft power and its strategic influence. So the Korean wave has often been cited as a leading example of soft power. From your perspective, what are the key lessons other nations can learn from Korea's use of cultural diplomacy?
Origin of soft power can be found in the United Kingdom. If the essence of British soft power is freedom, then I believe the essence of Hallyu lies in, I can use Korean word, 정,
Mm.
the warm sense of affection and connection. As AI advances and global polarization deepens, Hallyu, which shares this warmth, will only continue to grow. Cultural diplomacy requires economic strength, but it cannot be sustained by economics alone. It is only possible when we respect our other societies, cultures, and histories.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I think building that foundation of a mutual respect, that
Mhm.
mutual human connection is so important.
Yeah.
And so many other nations have done similar things, but can learn so much from what South Korea has been able to do
Mhm.
in growing into a global superpower, but also fostering international connection. So I completely agree. And
Yeah.
what impact have you observed firsthand in the UK in terms of how Hallyu has shaped perspectives of Korean policy, economically, and even socially?
Mm, I have had the chance to meet a wide range of illustrations figures from the cultural, economic, academic, and government sectors accompanying Korean parliamentarians. Almost every conversation begins with personal or family experience of K-pop, K-dramas and films, or K-food, and often end with the words, "See you in Seoul." Yeah. The number of members in the UK Parliament, APPG, on the Republic of Korea has also risen from just 7 or 8 to more than 30, yeah, reflecting deep and growing interest in Korea. Everyone knows Korea's leading companies such as Samsung, LG, Hyundai, and Kia, and they are said to be over 240 Korean restaurants in London alone. Yeah. Hallyu is no longer third culture. It has become part of everyday life of Londoners. Yeah.
Exactly. I think there's been a huge integration. I think I actually walked past a restaurant recently and it didn't
Mm.
have like any mention of Korea, but it was like kimchi infused sandwiches. So the
Uh,
culture is really being integrated seamlessly,
yeah,
which is so
right.
interesting. And as Korea continues to grow its cultural,
Mhm.
technological, and political influence, what do you see as the next frontier for international cooperation, especially between South Korea and the UK?
Mm, for international cooperation between two nations that are geographically distant, building mutual trust is essential. We must work together on shared challenges, such as environmental issues. Fortunately, there are many areas where we can strengthen cooperation in science and technology, in the economy, and even defense industry. Among these culture, especially Hallyu, which resonate with the people in both nations, offers a remarkable opportunity. Based on this public interest, politicians must meet more often. Active exchange between our parliaments will help ensure that diplomatic relations are not only strengthened but sustained over the long term. This is the true power of parliamentary diplomacy.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And what are your hopes for the younger generation? Because obviously the next generation plays a key role in shaping where this relationship goes next. So what are your hopes for the younger generation, both in countries that can engage with each other beyond entertainment and perhaps through educational, technological, or even entrepreneurial exchange? What do you hope to see?
I want to share my experience. I once met a student at the University of Bristol who was studying Korean, and two things struck me. First, I was surprised by how many students are eager to learn the Korean language. Second, I was impressed that quite a number of them were seriously interested in pursuing careers in Korea. Of course, many young Koreans also wish to come to the UK. We must create the conditions for such exchanges to take place freely. This will bring enormous benefits to both our countries. There are already many platforms for exchange between young people in our two countries. In 2023, the youth mobility scheme quota between our two countries was greatly expanded, allowing up to 5,000 participants annually. The key is to create a real boom. When there is a boom, schools respond, politicians respond, and government respond. Until now, language barriers had made this difficult, but thanks to Hallyu, the possibility of such a boom has emerged. Allowing young people from both nations to spend the best years in their youth in each other's countries will become an invaluable asset for the future for both countries. Yeah.
Yes, and talking about language, obviously language barriers can be quite a hurdle, but I think
Mhm.
once again, just showing that natural integration, it was 2024, I believe, we actually launched with the Korean Cultural Center an exhibition that highlighted the
Yeah.
26 words that were added into the Oxford Dictionary that were a
Oh,
mix of Korean words and Konglish words. So it's really nice to see those fundamental steps happening that can lead to some of this larger impact.
yeah. I also like because of that is I think there are some point of success because there are UK people are usually very generous and very kind to other people. Like we somebody use Koreans because UK people understand our language harder. Yeah, fully understand. I think. Yeah, I'm very thankful about it. Yeah.
Yes, it's really nice to see. And now reflecting on your career so far, what would you say that you're most proud of and what legacy or impact would you like to leave behind in the space in international diplomacy and in Korea's global
Mm.
engagement?
During my time in the UK, I had many valuable experience. Two achievements stand out in my memory. One is that I had the opportunity to visit not only the UK Parliament, but also the Scottish Parliament, the Welsh Parliament, and the Northern Ireland Assembly. In particular, during my meeting with the Speaker Edwin Putz, the Northern Ireland Assembly was especially memorable. It also gave me the chance to gain deeper understanding of Northern Ireland and an opportunity that was possible because I'm a diplomat from the legislature. Another happiest moment for me is the addition of a Korean language option to the multimedia guide service at the Palace of Westminster. Thanks to the effort of Secretary General Kim Min-ki and many MPs delegations, the service will finally launch this month, maybe 22nd of September. It is a true symbol of parliamentary exchange between our two countries, and it remains one of my proudest moments. Over the years, I have met countless British politicians, academics, and officials, business leaders, and cultural figures, and welcomed many Koreans here as well. Looking ahead, I hope to continue contributing so that our two nations, grounded in mutual trust, can work together on global agendas.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really interesting to hear. And as we unfortunately come towards the end of our discussion today, I'd like to close up with some quick fire questions just to help lighten the mood.
Yeah.
And so, starting off, what one word would you use to describe Korea-UK relations today?
Wow, it's a very difficult question. Yeah. I think relay, Relay, relay. Our cooperation is not a sprint, but a relay. We pass the baton of democracy, prosperity, and culture to each other, ensuring the race continues for the future generations.
Thank you. And next, a moment from your diplomatic career that you'll never forget. So slightly similar to what you shared, but is there anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, in December 2024, when our former president declared the martial law, many around the world were deeply concerned about South Korea. After that, I met with many figures in the UK Parliament, and I was able to secure both their trust in Korean democratic system and their unwavering support. It felt as though the effort made over the years and finally bore fruit.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's really nice to see someone that is a political figure being able to self-reflect, being able to say, okay, you know what, here's where we've gone wrong and how can we look towards a positive future together? So that's really inspiring. And what is a Korean value or cultural trait that you think that more people in the world should embrace?
In Korean thought, the concept of I can use Korean word uri, shift identity from possession to belongings, from the individual to the web of relationships. It expanded outward from family to school to nation, and ultimately to our shared planet, embodying an ethic of collective responsibility.
Yes, I love the word Uri as well. I think it's very interesting. There was actually a movie I watched that depicted the relationship between a first generation Korean American individual and his journey in America. And they lightly touched on how in the West, it's your name first, then your family name last. Whereas in Korean culture, it can be interpreted that the family name is first, the Uri and us, and the collective is first, then the individual second. So it's a really nice cultural element to think about. And then last but not least, a book or film or a piece of Korean content that you'd like to recommend to anyone wanting to better their understanding of Korea and its people.
Yeah, among the most impressive Korean drama over the past decade, I would recommend My Mister and My Liberation Note. Both were written by the same screenwriter, Park Hae-young. Her works make us reflect on why, in a modern world that often pursues only efficiency, it is essential for human beings to be together.
Now, thank you so much for your time. I think it's been a really nice and insightful discussion we've had today, and hopefully it will lead to many more discussions like this, Mr. Kim.
Yeah,
But
thank you very much.
once again, just thank you so much for your time. Is there any one word that you would like to leave our audience with before we close today?
Uh, yeah, I think we can make new history. Yeah, because it's I think 140 years ago, yeah, we don't have any any important relationship between two countries, but now we are very important for us. Yeah, so we can make everything by our help. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. You've been watching Meet the Experts with Hallyu Kon, and this has been such an honor to have this conversation with Mr. Kim, and just speaking to someone who is so humble, so kind, and so insightful has been a true honor. So we hope that you continue to tune into these discussions and follow our collective work. Until next time, we will see you. Bye.
Okay, thank you.